Hello and welcome to the first edition of the Cricket Counsel Podcast. We're going to be basically discussing all things cricket, and there's no better place to start than the events in Hyderabad on Sunday morning. It was just an absolute exhibition of world-class cricket from the England boys. They overturned a 190-run deficit to take a 1-0 lead in the 5-test series. Magnificent 7-for from Tom Hartley after getting spanked around in the first innings as well. And, Ollie Pope's 196 as well. I'm here with first Rayan and Luke. Rayan, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Rayan and Luke. I'm pursuing my passion like sports journalism masters in University of Brighton. I'm an ardent fan of Indian cricket and Sachin Ramesh Tendulkar, the guy who makes me to fall in love with cricket at the age of 6. I started watching cricket in 2004-5 and I fell in love with the moment when I started watching Sachin Tendulkar. That's what makes me to bring to England, meet the guys who sat next to me, the gentlemen. The love of cricket.
And and of course Luke, you want to introduce yourself as well?
Hi everyone, Luke Ashbury. I'm a very keen club cricketer. That doesn't mean a good club cricketer, but yeah, you find me on some village green somewhere on Saturdays trying to score runs, take some wickets, and really just a general cricket badger, watching cricket, talking cricket, listening to cricket. Looking forward to doing this podcast with you two.
Yeah, and I'm Will Kirkup. I don't think I mentioned my name. I'm also a student at Brighton. Don't know as much as I should for someone doing a cricket podcast. I don't know much about the county champs or anything, but I love following the test team. I was in New Zealand for the test matches at the start of 2023. Let's crack on. Rayan, how are you feeling after the, as an Indian, what happened?
It's like, I don't know how we lost the match. We were so good until day 2. But after that, I don't know what happened to the boys. They batted like they forgot how to bat in spin-friendly pitches. They were so good before the series and they were raised in those conditions. So I don't know what happened to them. But it's a hard, tough pill to swallow for them, and it takes some time to recover from them, I think.
Maybe did the sweeping from Ollie Pope perhaps get in their heads a little bit? Maybe.
Yeah, he's so good in sweep and reverse sweep, so I think that's what affected the line and length of Ashwin and Jadeja. So they put some defensive field sets to control the runs. They forgot to attack, so which yielded him easy singles. And he's very good in crease until last wicket. So he rotated the single in every over. He's not good try to defend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, Luke, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I must admit, after day 2, I was thinking, 5-0. I was thinking, why on earth haven't they picked Liam Dawson? He's taken 50 wickets in County Champ Div 1 in the summer, scored close to 900 runs at 40. And then you've got this guy, Tom Hartley, right, with at best, modest county record, right? And all I'm hearing is he's 6'4", his release height, the pacey bowls. And then I actually, turn it on in the morning, and then I see Jaiswal just smash his first ball into the crowd. I think the first 3 overs he bowled, he'd gone for more than 30. And I'm just thinking, Stokesy, you've got to take him off here, I've been there in that situation, right? Where
Getting hit about.
Where, I completely yipped up. Yeah. And, all you want to do is the captain to take you off and just hide in the field, right? And forget about it. Yeah, just
back down to sort of fine leg.
Yeah, back down to fine leg, you know, spewing, honestly, what, last week I could bowl, what's gone wrong this week. But the problem is, when you come off, your confidence is completely shot, right? And it doesn't let you to get into your spell.
Yeah.
And that is why I think Stokes' captaincy is so brilliant, people say Bazball is about attacking cricket. It is, but it's also about showing confidence in your players. And the more Hartley bowled, you could see he was getting into his spell. He got 2 wickets in the first innings.
Yeah.
And if Stokes had taken him off, I guarantee you he wouldn't have come back and got that 7 wickets in the final innings. So, I mean, at the start of the series, I was thinking 5-0 India. But I really, really think England have a chance now.
Oh, 100% they've got a chance. Rayan, go on.
Totally agree with Luke. I remember Luke messaged me at the end of day 2. Your spinners are so good than our spinners. I was like kind of consoling him. No, mate, the match is not over. But it's so funny when I have to see that message on day 4. Ben Stokes, the captain, was unbelievable. His attitude and the self-belief towards him and his teammates, that's so freaking unbelievable. I think that's what earned him a result. And the thing is, in the matches he captained, all the matches are ended in a result. I think only one match was ended in a draw because of a rain in Manchester, right?
And we were going to win that and win the Ashes as well. So
bad luck to Stokes for that.
Yeah.
But I think Stokes is unbelievable. And now England have a fair chance of winning the series because of the mindset of Indians, and they were in the back step now, how to handle the basketball.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of works in the background is going on with Dravid and team.
Yeah, Rayan, you're you know a lot more than me and Luke with regards to Indian cricket. Is this the most worried you've been about losing a home series?
Of course, we haven't lost for more than a decade, and we want to lose it again because now the WTC is going on. So if we want to qualify for the final, it's a more important series for us. We have to win 5 matches, but we have lost 1. Try to win our remaining 4 to be in a position of qualifying for the WTC with some good percentage.
Yeah. And like in India, what's the press and like what will be the vibes over there?
Most of the Indian presses are very, I don't find some hard English words, but they're now talking bad about Rohit Sharma. They're now talking about Virat Kohli. So Virat Kohli is missing for the 2 tests, right? So they're talking like, what if Virat Kohli was a captain? It doesn't happen if Virat was captain the side. So they're just backbiting Rohit Sharma right now. They just forgot how Rohit Sharma performed in the World Cup.
Yeah. Have they got quite short memories over there?
Of course, mate. That's what Indian media.
If I just throw in a little caveat there, I was looking when we last toured India. I think it was 2021. I think we ended up losing the series 3-1. But we actually won the first test.
Yeah.
Joe Root got, I think, got 200. And then, we just saw Axar, Ashwin. I was getting up at 3-4 in the morning and just seeing Axar bowl these left arm darts. One was turning, one was sliding on. And then, I think other than Root in that series, Stokes was the only one to get over 200 runs. And then I compared that to when we won in India. I think it was, Ryan, you'd be able to probably correct
that
me,
was in 2012.
2012, right? And we had Cook, Peterson, Trott, Compton.
Yeah.
And they all got big runs. And I think that's how you're going to win in India, right? If you look, Ollie Pope, 196. Without that, England will be nowhere near. Whereas in the first innings, 3 Indian batsmen got to 80. No one got 100. If one of them turned that into even a 120, 140, 150, I think the game would have been dead.
They had 190 runs.
That's
the one thing I would say is that's been a bit of a thing, talking point with, you're right, like if Jaiswal had kept going, got 150, the game was out of sight. They had 190 on the board already.
Yeah. It's true, but I just think you've got to be like in India.
Ruthless, I guess.
Yeah, when the sun is shining, you've got to really score big. Because on the sort of 3rd, 4th day, it's always going to be difficult.
That was Rahul Dravid echoed in the press conference. He just told, we are missed to score big. 3 of the batsmen score 80s and got out, which is not good in Test cricket. When the player from the opponent team scored 196 in a spinning track, why don't the home players? So why don't they have the resistance to score big?
Well, I think that's quite harsh because it's like they didn't score big once Like it's like if it happens all throughout the series now, then you look back and go, maybe we need to think about how they're training, like how we approach the batting. But like the England and the English press and the English media and everyone about England, they're so quick. So I'm not saying it's an Indian thing. They're so quick to go, they're not. Why have they picked Hartley, for example? He's had one bad innings. He probably bowled 10 crap overs. Like it's not. It's a very big reaction, and they should maybe even after 3 tests, batting isn't. They're not up to it. Then start thinking about that kind of thing. But
yeah,
I think India will still win the series.
Hopefully.
They've still got class all through that batting order. They've got Kohli to come back in the 3rd test.
In the last 3 test series against England, we never won the first match. So in 2012, we lost the match and we lost the series. In 2016, we draw the first match of the series and we went to win the series. So in 2020 also, we lost the first match of the series, but then we won the series. So it's like we lost the first match again. Hopefully we'll win the series. Let's see.
One thing I'll just add, I think Jadeja will be a big miss in the 2nd test. He's basically a cheat code in Indian conditions. Left arm spinner, unbelievable control, and then he's like a top order batsman. Really, like I know he's batting at 6 now. I don't know exactly what he averages in Test cricket, but I bet it's close to 40. He's an absolute jet in the field as well. I noticed England were hitting it to him on the edge of the ring, and they just weren't running.
I think he scored 10 50s in the last 10 or 12 test matches. He's a golden boy of Indian cricket. So I remember that Jadeja was out of an Indian team until 2017 something. And in the England series, MSD gave an idea to bring back Jadeja because at that time India were opinion about wrist spinners. Wrist spinners are the next thing in the field. So just win with Kuldeep and Chahal instead of Ashwin and Jadeja.
Yes, just to chime in, Jadeja has a test batting average of 36. I'm off the top of my head, Stokes has about the same average.
Yeah.
He scored 2,993 runs in tests, but his bowling average is 24.
Oh God,
280 wickets. So it's like, yeah, he's just
absolutely. He's a big miss. We have no like replacement for Jadeja.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. What is the plan for India now with the?
I think with
the 11.
KL Rahul and Jadeja are too likely to miss. Likely, they miss the 2nd test, and they have announced Washington Sundar, Saurabh Kumar, and Sarfraz Khan as the replacement.
Yep.
So I think, in my opinion, they will give Sarfraz Khan a debut cap.
Yes.
I think you guys know about Sarfraz Khan. He's a right-hand batter. Played for Mumbai in Ranji Trophy.
Mm-hmm.
Played for Delhi in IPL. He's so good in scoring big runs, which we missed in the first test.
Mm-hmm.
So he currently scored 100 against England line in the last week.
Yeah. Okay.
He scored dozens of runs in the Ranji Trophy.
Yeah, I must admit I looked him up as well because I saw him in the squad, and he averages close to 70 in first class cricket, and I can't. But he's not played a Test match for India yet, has he?
Yeah.
That just shows how good
The
you
Indian
need
setup
to be.
is-
How good you need to be in India. If anyone in the county championship over an extended period of time averaged 70, and they weren't in the squad, people would be up in arms. But yeah, it's amazing the strength and depth.
Has he got the release point? Has he got the high release point? That's what I want to know. If he hasn't got that high release point, I don't want to hear it. Don't care how many runs he scored.
Well, I must admit, even after the first innings, Pope batting at 3 sort of looked all at sea.
Oh, it was like I saw someone on Twitter said, I think we should get Keaton Jennings into bat 3.
No, I honestly I'm guilty of this as well. I wrote off Hartley, I wrote off Pope. That sort of shows what I know.
I'm being talking as though I wasn't thinking that. I was sat sort of 5:30 in the morning watching Hartley bowl. It was a bit later than that, but watching Hartley bowl, thinking, this guy's just rubbish, isn't he?
Yeah.
But so all idiots,
Not only you two
all
guys.
proven wrong.
Not only you two guys. Most of the English media and most of the English people thought rubbish of Hartley, but Stokes proved that wrong. That's what Stokes is.
Yeah, I've heard. So it's interesting what McCullum's been saying as well. Like he hasn't ruled out that at one point in the tour we might play an all-spin attack, which is just.
I don't think so.
I just think it's brilliant though, right? Even
Yeah.
suggesting that, you know,
Yeah.
you got Bashir who's back now after his visa issues. Like, I'm glad that's sorted. Like I wouldn't be surprised if he plays in the second test. You know, he's even sort of more unheard of Hartley. I think he's probably taken, I don't know how many first-class wickets, like 10, something like that. But again, yeah, they've picked him on a hunch. They obviously see some talent in him. So yeah, good luck to him.
Good luck, but I don't think England went with 4 spinners because they already have Root in their team, right? He's now like a more than a part-time spinner. So with Root in their team, it's hard for them to go with another 4 spinners.
Yeah, can I just chime in with Bashir's career stats? So, first class cricket, he's played 6 matches. He's got 10 wickets at 67. So, I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah, and I go back to the Liam Dawson shout, you know. I think he might be playing out in South Africa at the moment. And to be honest, I'm not sure like if he would have wanted to go on the tour and sort of be the backup spinner. But yeah, when you look at that, like Bashir, like if you're sort of a county spinner, and I know, you know, the problem is we play a lot of county cricket in the spring and autumn. So yeah, it's not really conducive to spinners. And I notice as well, so Lancashire have signed Nathan Lyon for the summer. So is Hartley even they're not gonna play 2 spinners at Lancashire in April, are they?
So true.
So is Hartley gonna play? Like probably not, and he's out in India.
No, he'll be in the test side.
Well, yeah. Like I think back to a guy as well, Amir Verdi. So he's been playing for Surrey for quite a long time now, and he was sort of picked out as a potential England spinner. This summer, I don't think he played any county games. You know, Surrey seemed dominant. You know, they had Will Jacks batting down the order and bowling off spin. Yeah. But in terms of actually like spinners, like I thought Verdi would be the next one, but he's sort of been forced out the door really, which is a shame.
Yeah.
Talking about Will Jacks and Liam Dawson, these 2 guys are doing so good in SA T20.
Yeah.
Will Jacks for Durban Super Giants and Liam Dawson for Sunrisers Eastern Cape. These guys are doing so good.
Yeah, I must admit I've not been able to catch much of the SA20. But yeah, I think we're all kind of purists here, aren't we, right? Test cricket is what we love.
I refuse to engage with the SA20 in any capacity whatsoever.
And with Shoaib Basir, with only so less of games behind him, how did Stokes find him? Why did they choose Shoaib Basir instead of other spinners?
So I think it is like we joke about it a little bit. They've seen the success that Axar Patel's had for India. He's got that high release point, and the get a bit more bounce. I'm not an expert on spin bowling by any means. I think they're trying to replicate Axar Patel. He destroyed us in that series. I think it was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And they want to replicate that. Hartley's got similar attributes. Outbowled Axar Patel in the Test match. And Bashir, I think I was listening to a podcast. I think Phil Tufnell was saying he'd seen him. He's like 7 foot, or he's like, well, not 7. He's exaggerating, but like he's ridiculously tall as well. So that's the thinking behind it. I think they've looked at him probably beyond just his first class games. They've had him out in that UAE training camp they had on before the tour. And they've obviously liked what they saw during that training camp. So yeah, I think that's the situation with Bashir. It's a situation with Hartley as well. That's how they've come to the Hartley selection, because there wasn't that much to go off from his time at Lancashire.
I read that in Twitter or Instagram, after Shoaib Basir entered into the dressing room, he received a chair of welcome by the England teammates. And with Leach suffering from an injury, is there any chance of bringing Shoaib Basir in the next game?
I think there probably is, yeah.
I think McCullum has said there's a good chance that he plays.
In place of Leach, or
To be honest, like anything can happen with Bazball and Stokes, But yeah, I think Ryan, you mentioned Root's bowling.
yeah,
And I just wanted to sort of wax lyrical about Root for a while. So I think now he averages.
Can I just say, Luke's got an A4 sheet of paper just fully prepped.
Yeah, I
for
told you.
Root chat.
I told you I'm a badger, right? I want to do this properly. So from my research, don't quote me on this, but from what I found, Root averages around 25 in tests with the ball. And just to put that in context, so Warne and Murali both average close to 40, and Harath over 50. So that just goes to show how hard it is as a foreign spinner to bowl in Indian conditions, because, the Indian batters, that's their bread and butter, playing spin, and they just love to put the pressure on the spinners. And I think I also saw on Instagram, Root has now become the highest run scorer of a foreign batsman in India.
Yeah, that's right.
Overtook Ricky Ponting. So, yeah, I just think we're so lucky to have him.
He's also the highest run scorer in England v India tests ever. More than Sachin.
and also Root's total test runs is greater than the test runs of the players in the Indian squad.
Yeah.
Of course, there's no Kohli, I suppose. There's no,
Root himself scored more than 11,000 runs, but the second Indian squad for the second test scored just 10,500 runs. It shows the quality of Root.
I love him, man.
Yeah,
I love him so much.
I don't know if you guys saw this clip online, but it must have been, I think it was footage from his first adult match. His dad was filming him. He must have been about 8, and he was out there batting. And, the way he shaped up the shots he was playing, it's exactly the same technique, It just goes to show 8 years old, and he was batting already superbly. Like,
I saw that clip. Mate. I saw that clip.
Yeah.
I think one of the club just posted it on his birthday, right?
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Oh, what a player, man. What a player. I'm sure he was pulling out the little scoop round the corner, aged 8.
I think baseball made him to play such unorthodox shots.
Yeah.
And that he's so good at unorthodox shots too.
Yeah.
And I think Root as a bowler is growing so good with having experience of playing in India.
Yeah.
He currently knows which length have to bowl, and he's bowling around the wicket to right-handers, so to indicate to create a bad pad gap. And I think you guys saw the wicket of Jasprit Bumrah.
Where he went straight through the gate, right?
Yeah.
Onto leg
into
stump.
the grate, onto the leg, hit the leg stump.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, so good. Should we take a little break?
Yeah, I think that's enough talking for now.
Right, we'll take a break. So, welcome back to the Cricket Counsel Podcast. We've been talking predominantly about India versus England. And we're going to have a look forward to the second test match now. That's being played in Vizag and starts on Friday. Rayan, can you talk to us about the pitch at all? What's that going to look like?
In Vizag, 2 test matches have been played in Vizag. First was in 2016 between India and England, and the last test match was between India and South Africa in 2019. Vizag is a coastal area, and the pitch is similar to Hyderabad. And both the test matches, it's been India scored 502 for 7 against South Africa, and against England they scored more than 400 runs. So against South Africa also scored more than 400 runs in their first innings against India. So for the first 2.5 days, it's so good for batting. So whichever team win the toss, they must bat first and score big, and try to bowl out the opposition team and make them bat again, or they can bat again and score some dozen of runs and make an innings win. So it's again similar to Hyderabad. Win the toss, bat first, score more than 400.
Yeah, and Luke, who do you think that suits? Sounds like it's the batting pitch.
Yeah, I think, again, it's going to hinge on the toss. You want to be batting on that day one. The problem, well, not the problem, but what I worry about with Bazball is, I know Pope went big in this game, but I really think, you know, you got Crawley, Duckett, and sort of the attacking brand they play, you know, they can give it away. You know, we batted first on day one. We're all out in 67 overs, something like that, for 246, I think. So, yeah, if we do bat first, I think, yeah, as Rayan says, you've got to get 400, 500, and then put the pressure on the other team.
Yeah. And also, so what do we think for selections? Could it be Anderson? Or...
Yeah, I think, obviously, Wood, I think, playing back-to-back test matches, you know, he looked pretty ineffective, to be honest, in that game. You know, like his bouncers were bouncing on the way through to Ben Folkes. So, yeah, I would definitely bring Anderson in. And then, yeah, I'd go with the rest spinners, depending if Leach is fit. You know, if Leach isn't fit, you can always bring in Bashir. I think, yeah, because Leach is good, right, because he brings control.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he didn't bowl that many overs. And I think when you've got Root, he can sort of plug that gap anyway. So, yeah, I think only change for me would be bring Anderson in for Wood. And then, yeah, monitor how Leach is going.
So we're thinking Bashir if Leach is injured.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only option, isn't
well,
it?
I mean,
suppose?
to be honest, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen probably one clip of him bowling online, so I'm probably not the best person to advise. But, I mean, yeah,
Who knows?
why not give him a go?
Yeah, I mean, I never watched Hartley bowl, so and now I have, and now I think he's the best off spinner in the world after that spell. And Rayan, coming to you regarding the Indian selection, like obviously they've got some injuries and all the rest of it. Who do you want to see on Friday?
Yeah, with KL Rahul and Jadeja to miss the test. So in place of KL Rahul, I would suggest Sarfaraz Khan might replace him. With having so much of runs in the Ranji Trophy, it's a chance for him to prove his mettle in the international level.
Yeah.
And there's no, as I said earlier, there's no likely replacement for Jadeja. And we have a right-arm off-spinner, Washington Sundar, could bat a little bit higher than the rest of the spinners. He have made a 60 in the Gabba, so he's so good in bat. But we have also Saurabh Kumar, another left-arm spinner, which is like replacement for Jadeja in bowling.
Yeah.
So they might go for Washington Sundar, Saurabh Kumar, or they might go for Kuldeep Yadav, another left-arm variation, Chinaman. He's not so defensive. He may go for runs, considering the fact England is going to play baseball, but he might get some wickets too. So within these three, I think India will go for Kuldeep Yadav and Washington Sundar. And they also tried to rest Siraj, considering the fact he's underbowled in the first test.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they will replace Siraj, KL Rahul and Jadeja with Sarfaraz Khan, Washington Sundar and Kuldeep Yadav.
Okay.
And
Well,
I think regarding the England squad, Mohammad Shami having a great time in the last test match in Vizag against South Africa. He's having a 5-4 in Vizag. So considering that he's using his reverse swing skills to take the wickets. So I think it's good for England to go with James Anderson.
Yeah, I mean he's our answer with reverse swing. I suppose Wood probably can reverse it as well.
But James Anderson can control the runs when compared to Mark Wood.
Yeah, well, that spell he bowled in that first test last series, it's just I've forgotten who he got out when it sent the stumps
in Chennai.
The first test. Yeah, that was.
But
were you at that? Did you go to it?
I went to the second test between India and England in Chennai. Rohit Sharma scored 165 runs. R. Ashwin scored a century. The local boy and the crowd went mad cheering for R. Ashwin. I still remember that. And Moeen Ali hitting for sixes in the second innings. After that, he picked for Chennai Super Kings.
Moeen Ali was?
Moeen Ali.
Class. I love Moeen, to be fair. Right, Rayan, how are India going to respond?
I think the Rohit is having a tough time right now. Starting from the selections, from plans to the baseball. India need to win the toss and bat first and score. At least two of the batters need to score a century. Rohit Sharma having good record in spin conditions. He needs to lead the team in front and score 150, maybe 200, and set the tone for the rest of the batters. With OEBJ, I think in the second innings, OEBJ have played in a defensive mood comparative to his first innings. So I think he need to play in his aggressive way, like his way of playing basketball, scoring run a ball in test match. It's okay if you lost the wicket. We have to maintain the momentum and go on bang against the spinners like Tom Hartley and Jack Leach. And he's the only left-hander in the top order. So he just need to take on the left-arm spinners. The right-hand batters having less average to the left-hand spinners.
Yeah.
Jaiswal needs to take the left-arm spinners and score big, which might affect their rhythm and length.
Yeah, well, one thing I've noticed is how Stokes responds to his mistakes. So I don't know how keen they'd be to have Hartley bowling to Jaiswal, because obviously Root got him out in the first innings as well.
Yeah.
I think they might be. I think Stokes will be like, right, okay, we are going to protect you when you're bowling at Jaiswal a little bit too, Tom Hartley. That's sort of what I hope he did. It's what he did in the second innings with that in-out field. So, yeah, we'll see. And Luke, what about England?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a lot more confident than I was at the start of the series. I think they're going to take a lot of confidence from that game. As I said before, Jadeja is a huge miss. I think you could probably argue he's the most important player for India in Indian conditions. If it looks like the pitch is going to turn, as Brendan McCullum said, I would love if they played an all-spin attack.
It's just vibes, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's great vibes.
Yeah, it's just, it's just mad. And I can't remember if this is true, but I heard someone talking about Bairstow was practicing his little mediums.
No,
in the net.
We can't do that. We can't do that. That's too much. That's too much. No, it's like when Brooke bowled a little bit of medium pace in New Zealand. I remember he got a wicket.
Yeah.
He got Williamson out. I think he got Williamson out.
Yeah, and that was filth, wasn't it? Off the wrong foot, like myself.
I think Ollie Pope bowled some leg spin.
Ollie Pope can bowl. Oh, well, there we go. I'm surprised they didn't bring him on Sunday, to be fair. What about Rayan?
Yeah, I mean, I think actually leg spin tends to struggle in India. You've got
Warren, haven't you? As a prime example.
like you've got to have such good control, and I just don't think Rayan's there yet. But yeah, I really like him. He got some useful lower order runs, and I think even he said he sort of sees himself as more of a batsman. But yeah, I like what he can bring. He turns the ball a lot. He's got a good googly. And yeah, I think if you're playing other spinners alongside him, he's a good option to have.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose he's 19 as well.
Yeah.
That gets forgotten a little bit.
That's what you forget about. Yeah.
It's just insane, really. And I want to, before we move on to the next section, I want to do a little shout out to Ben Duckett, who everyone laughed at him on the first day when he said Stokes' 70-odd was the match-winning innings. And here we are, discussing England's win.
Yeah.
Rayan, you wanted to add something quickly.
Having said that, England have 5 players from England have the experience of playing in the Vizag before. Ben Duckett, Joe Root, Ben Stokes, Johnny Bairstow and James Anderson have played in Vizag before. Whereas in India, only Ravichandran Ashwin and Rohit Sharma played a test match in Vizag.
Interesting.
Yeah, it shows the longevity of England players from 2016 to 2020. They have backed the players.
Presumably we lost in Vizag last time.
They lost.
Oh, yeah. Oh, of course he did.
But Johnny Bairstow made a quick fair 50 in the second innings in 2016 in Vizag. So he might having a good go in the coming test.
Yeah, with the added Baz ball, he might get a ton, hopefully. Right, okay, so we are going to now do a combined 11 of India and England players. The first one, I did 2. The first one is just pure, like, at their peak. They're current players, but at their peak, who you pick. So, like, for example, you can have Pant, even though he's injured. Is probably the best example. And then, I don't know about you guys. I did a little second one based on form. Luke, I'll come to you first. What's your 11?
Sure. All right, so opening the batting, I'm going to have 2 Indians in Rohit Sharma and Jaiswal. Obviously, Rohit Sharma, I think he's just a bully up top in India, you know, like he really puts the pressure on the bowling. Jaiswal I've not seen a lot of, but based on that first test, you know, like he's clearly super, super talented. I think Rayan will probably know more than this and we'll talk about it, but I think he's had sort of a rags to riches story.
Yeah.
So, yeah, love to see that. One down at number 3, I would have Kohli. I don't think that's too surprising, you know. And then Root at 4. Both of them would want to bat at 4, but I'd put Kohli at 3. I think if Kohli had played in that first test, it would have made a big difference, especially in the chase. You know, he's got that sort of ticker where he sort of takes on the pressure for his team, would have taken it deep. And yeah, I think they would have ended up chasing it had he been playing. At number 5, I had Stokes, who had also captained the team. I don't think that's too surprising. You know, I think since he's taken over the England team, we were on a terrible run. And I think we've now won 14 games out of 19. Yeah, I won't go into the stats of Ben Stokes. I think everyone knows, you know, he's just a game changer.
He's not a man of stats.
Yeah,
He's just like, it is just the fear.
That's what I heard online, someone saying, you know, like when he ends his career, his stats won't stack up against the best. But when you see the games he's won and what he's actually done, like even, I mean, in the first test match, 70 in the first innings, he went up and down the gears, you know, batting with the tail, 70 odd to get England up to 240. And then also we haven't even talked about the run out of Jadeja, you know, like.
Oh my God, forgot about that.
The geezer's had knee surgery 2 months ago and he's able to do that. It's just, yeah, ridiculous. At number 6, I've got Jadeja. I think I've already talked about how much I rate him. Perhaps controversially, I've got Folkes as the wicketkeeper, just for the fact that I think he's the best gloveman.
He's also very handsome, which, you know,
yeah,
can't look past that.
And yeah, even with the bat, you know, him and Pope put on 100 in that second innings for England. It was the only 100 partnership of the match. And I think, yeah, there's many examples where he's been able to play the supporting role. And I really like that for the number 7, you know, sort of support the more senior batsman. And yeah, so I'd have Folkes keeping. And then I've got the spin duo of Ashwin and Axar. And then Bumrah and Shami, if fit. So on Shami, yeah, I think Ryan mentioned it, reverse swing. I know it was one-day cricket, but he was brilliant in the World Cup. And then, yeah, Bumrah, we just saw in that first test, he's so skillful. I think the only 6 wickets taken in the test by pace were all to Bumrah. Yeah. So that just shows how good he is in these conditions.
And Rayan, hit me.
I'll pick a team based on the players in playing in the first test match. I would go with Yashasvi Jaiswal and Duckett in the opening. Pope at number 3, Root at number 3, Pope at number 4, KL Rahul at number 5, Ben Stokes captaining the side at number 6, and Jadeja, the all-rounder, at number 7.
Yeah.
KS Bharat is the wicketkeeper for me, who is an Hyderabadi gloveman who is so good in.
Interesting.
So
yeah.
KS Bharat at 8, Ashwin at 9, Hartley at 10, and Jasprit Bumrah, the lonely pacer in my team, at 11.
Yeah.
Jasprit Bumrah, the wicket of Ben Stokes is, you know, Ben Stokes himself is applauding Jasprit Bumrah after losing his wicket.
Oh, no one. Bumrah's an absolute shoo-in.
And I read that Wood saying in the press conference, Bumrah is not helping me by picking so many wickets. It looks like I'm below average compared to Bumrah.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't have Axar?
No. And based off the first test match, Tom Hartley picking 7 wickets and batting at 7 with the partnership with Pope, that's the turning point. So I'll go with Hartley in place of Axar.
Okay, well, I've got 2 because I made one after day 2 of the test match, where we were obviously looking pretty down and out.
Yeah, I think we should just caveat. I don't know
Yeah.
if we've said this is Indian conditions.
Yeah.
If it was in
yeah.
England, I'd have a
Yeah.
completely different
Oh
take.
yeah. Oh yeah. I'd be trying to get Stuart Broad back if it was in England, to be honest. Right. So my first one's also more kind of, it isn't form. Rohit Sharma opening with Duckett. Virat and Root 3 and 4. KL Rahul 5. Ben Stokes 6. Rishabh Pant 7. Just because I'm still having nightmares about what he did to us in that series a couple of years ago. And then Jadeja and Ashwin spinners, and Anderson and Bumrah as my seam attack. Because you can call, if you're really desperate for a third spin, you can call on Root.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously those two are just like silly. And then I watched the next couple of days and I sort of reconsidered. I've still got Rohit and Duckett. Obviously Jaiswal, now you've made your case for Jaiswal, I'm starting to get swayed.
Jaiswal is like the rising star of Indian cricket in the upcoming years. I'm sure he'll play all 3 formats
Yeah.
and he'll be maybe he's kind of like Virendra Sehwag, playing
Yeah.
aggressively in opening the order, top of the order.
Yeah.
And his rise from the ranks is just unbelievable. His father was selling pani puri, which is an Indian snack, in the streets of Mumbai. Before IPL, he's coming from a poor background, and he was picked by the Mumbai Ranji team, and then his life changed dramatically. He was picked by the Rajasthan Royals. The owner of Rajasthan Royals are from England, so he played alongside Josh Butler, and I'm sure Josh Butler is so happy about SSV Jaiswal.
Yeah.
And he's learning so much from the likes of SSV, Josh Butler and Ben Stokes. Ben Stokes also played for Rajasthan Royals in his
Okay.
early days.
Yeah.
So I'm sure all of the English guys are also happy about SSV Jaiswal, considering the fact he's so humble and he's so keen on learning. And his first series against West Indies in West Indies, he scored 100 in his first innings, I think, first or second innings. He scored 100
On debut.
on debut series, and it's his first test series in India. And now you guys are seeing that he scored 80 plus runs in his first test innings in India.
Unreal.
Is going to go big in the upcoming
Yeah.
years.
I think I might go Jaiswal, Duckett. I thought Duckett was just, with his reverse sweeping and his sweeping, him and Crawley got that third innings going. Like,
Jacket behind the square is so good. He's so good in cutting the ball of spinners. He's so good.
yeah, and then of course, like, having watched that innings, Ollie Pope's in there at 3. I've still got Virat at 4. I don't know why I've kept Virat. I just think Virat's that good. I think I'd go Root. I don't know.
You're struggling to fit all these batsmen in now.
What I wrote down was Virat Kohli, Joe Root. So I don't even know if I'm basing it off form at this point. It's just something just thoughts I've written down. Stokes, Folkes behind the stumps. So that changed. Jadeja, and then I've got Hartley in there because I was charmed, and then Ashwin and Bumrah again. I think that's just more a bit of a random 11, which I've just sort of cobbled together, to be honest with you.
I have to say sorry to my Indian friends for not picking Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli in my Indian team. It's purely based on the form in the first test. That's why I omit Rohit Sharma, and Virat Kohli obviously didn't play the test match. And to go with the 2 lefties at the top, just like the old Australian side, Justin Langer and Matthew Hayden. It's so good.
Before we end,
I think we have to talk about the army support in India.
yeah,
How
They-
guys-
they're very impressive.
Yeah.
But
I've heard a lot of cheering in the last half an hour of play in Hyderabad. They've never stopped cheering, which makes the crowd so much into the match. That's huge when an opponent team's supporters coming into India, supporting their own team. And in the last over of the session, it's a last over and England need to pick a wicket. And the support they got from the Bomb Army crowd, that's unbelievable. I think kudos to them for supporting their team traveling to India.
Yeah, I think even so I heard on the TalkSport there was over I think 100,000 Indian fans there over the 4 days,
Yeah.
which shows, there's still sort of a love for Test cricket. I know that IPL sort of dominates now.
Crap.
But yeah, it's good to see there's still a love of Test cricket in India.
East
It
or West, Test is the
alive.
best. East or West, Test is the best.
Yeah. Right. Also, shout out to the Windies for beating Australia. That was lovely to see, but we've been speaking for nearly 2 hours now.
Yeah.
Rayan, did you want to add a final note?
Yeah, I think we have forgot to talk about slump in form of Gill. Hopefully he'll find his form in the upcoming series.
Yeah.
And to talk about Shamar Joseph, I read about his story. He worked as a security guard in Barkara, a coastal town in West Indies. From there to being the player of the series in Australia is an unbelievable story. And I also read that Prasanna Ahoram, a Tamil analyst who is also former analyst of Cricket South Africa, who is with the Guyana Amazon Warriors in Caribbean Premier League. He was the guy who identified Shamar Joseph while bowling in the nets. So Shamar Joseph worked as a security guard, as a part-timer, and came to bowl in the nets for Guyana Amazon Warriors. So Prasanna Ahoram spotted him and told Imran Tahir he is the guy who is be the next superstar of India. And Imran Tahir, without a second, granted him a contract without even knowing him. So that's the self-belief of Imran Tahir, and Prasanna Ahoram brought Shamar Joseph into the international scenery, and now he's rising the ranks. All the international cricket players are heaping praises about him. So congratulations to Shamar Joseph. We're expecting him to be the next superstar in international cricket.
Yeah. Right. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Cheers, guys.
This has been the Cricket Counsel Podcast. If you're still listening, I am amazed because it has dribbled on a little bit. We will be back, hopefully, after the second test match to regroup. Hopefully, Bashir will have been the latest England spinner to take a fifer, and England will be 2-0 up. I know, Ryan, I'll disagree.
Yeah, of course.
The next test match is on Friday. Thank you for listening.